you looking forward to most today?
Well, we have, as you said, a couple of track finals, but I think I'm still soaking in the atmosphere and the fun from last night. You can see there we're just going to pick up with women's javelin throw F56, and I will let Will Downing take that one away.
Very good morning to everybody. There are 11 in this women's javelin F56. The reigning Paralympic champion in this is Diana Kremina of Latvia. She didn't compete in last year's World Championships in Kobe, so that opened the door for Raisa Rocha to become the world champion. She's taken silver in the last two Paralympic Games in the javelin. And Kremina, much medalled, lots of golds, not just across the javelin, but also the shot and the discus. She took all three titles at the 2018 Euros in Berlin. So we've got 11 in this. So F56 with a few 55s thrown in. So those are nominally the second and the third strongest physically of the seated throwers. And because they're seated, all 6 throws will come at once, which means a little bit of time and care taken to pop the athletes into the throwing chair, strap them in, get the throws done. 3, a break, and another 3. You obviously will know the scene by now. We've got over half an hour of field events for you early on this morning. Remembering also, there is a separate track feed and field feed if you want to watch those. That will be available. Depends on your territory. It's with your broadcaster. In some places it's on YouTube as well, so keep an eye out for that, because mainly once the track action starts, it's that and the long jump that we'll be watching, plus the later field events that carry on. And we've had a lot of fun with the javelin over the past couple of nights. Great atmosphere, victories for India. And I'll tell you what, Steph, as always happens, and you know this because you won a gold at a home World Championships, when you've got the host nation doing well and winning things, it's a real lift to the atmosphere.
I have to say, we started off the week and we were walking around our hotel and doing all that sorts of things, and then now with those 2 incredible wins by India back to back in the javelin, which I'm pretty sure is their new favorite track and field event. And each time the timing was absolutely perfect because everything else on the track had finished. It was just the Indian athletes throwing. They had the entire stadium cheering them on, and now when we walk around, you can see people buzzing about it, asking us questions. Are you working at that athletics thing? How do we get tickets? And this is the magic that can happen when your nation hosts the game. This could be an absolute game changer for the Indian Paralympic Committee.
Well, we would very much hope so. It is live on national television as well in India. I understand both feeds are, both what we are seeing all day, what you're seeing all day, but also the field action, the other field action that's not on this feed, although some of it is on another channel too. Actually, I was flicking through the channels last night, looking for the Atalanta Club Brugge game in the Champions League. Couldn't find that. Did find this coverage, highlights in English. There was a bit of Steph doing the long jump on it, which is great. Still couldn't find the Atalanta Club Brugge game, but never mind. That's life. We're in a different part of the world. There's a lot of cricket on telly here, though, I'll tell you that. Immense amount. If you love that, you've got that here. And obviously they love the javelin here now as well, because they have a lot of campaigners in that. And this is where we are. So on the right hand side, actually tell you what, the last 2 global champions are in shot there, and that being Diana Kremina and Raisa Rocha. And a little bit of a chat forthcoming as well. And Komatsu of Japan ready to go. And we've got a really good teenage athlete who we've seen in the last couple of major championships, who's finished in 7th spot. We'll bring you as much of this as we can, but once the track action begins, the way the broadcast is set up by Indian National Television, the track does dominate a little bit more than what we usually see, but c'est la vie, it's fine. So 11 in the field here, which are set to be introduced. We've also got the men's shot put F36 final and the women's javelin F54 happening simultaneously at the other end of the stadium. So there's a lot of field event activity going on, and then, as if that wasn't enough, in about 40 minutes time we'll have the men's long jump T13. So the women's javelin was ought to have started by now with the opening throw, and obviously the introductions are due to have happened by now. They're going for pink a lot in Mexico these days. They've got the Jesolo Grand Prix, or Jesolo Grand Prix in athletics. They tend to have a powerlifting World Cup, and they host a lot of swimming. Big explosion in interest in parasport after holding the Pan Ams in 2011 in Guadalajara. Massive crowds as well, which is really good. I think that's always a positive thing. So we're going to start off in this women's javelin F56 final. Natalia Chebakova, who was a neutral athlete, 34, turned 34 actually while she was here. It was on the opening day at the weekend. I hope they had a little party for her anyway in the neutral hotel. The lifetime best is not bad, it's kind of mid-ranging, 1676, and those over the 20s, it's about 5 or 6 of them, and they're the ones who ought to be contesting the medals. It's a usual story. It's not quite as warm as it has been, but not quite as wet as it was yesterday.
The chair with a lifetime best of 13.87 from Costa Rica. Malia Ortuno.
First to be introduced, she is representing
8th in the world in 2024 from Czechia. Miroslava Obrova.
Javelin last year in Paris. Miroslava Obrova.
With a lifetime best of 17.98 representing India. Suchitra Parida.
So now here's a real name for the
Paralympics from Mexico, Maria Guadalupe Navarro.
In the World Championships and the Paralympics last year, Maria Navarro.
4th in the world last year for the Islamic
in the World Championships in Kobe last year for Iran. Zainab Maradi Rashnu. Prospects for her definitely. The defending world champion from Brazil, Raíssa Rocha, silver in the last 2 Paralympic Games. The reigning Paralympic
world record holder
She's
from
won this
Latvia,
twice.
Diana Krimina.
3-time javelin world champion, 5 world golds from Riga.
5th in the world in 2024 from Greece.
Sultana Karamani there, Greece. 4th in the Paralympic Games last year in Paris and 5th in Kobe. Saki Komatsu may be a prospect as well. She's 16.99 this year, lifetime best. We'll probably have to break that to get up the standings. Sendi Asuano likewise. 15.05 is a lifetime best. And ready to roll, Natalia Chebakova, neutral athlete, she's 16.76. That's a lifetime best. 5 of the field have gone beyond 20 metres. And those same 5 have gone beyond 20 metres this season as well. Quite a lot of those are lifetime bests. And the thing that's worth pointing out is that obviously we have athletes who come into the sport at different ages. Chebakova had the misfortune of registering no mark at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo 4 years ago. This is her first ever World Championship. It's one of those little curiosities, but I mean, you obviously have, I should stop saying obviously, because a lot of these things aren't obvious, but you do have quite a few athletes who come into parasport at an advanced age, because things happen. Next thing to happen, men's shot put, F36, so this is coordination impairment. It is normally the 3rd physically strongest of the standing coordination impairment categories. And we've got 8 who are going in this final. First of all, Alan Kukoiti. And he is a prime candidate. He's got the 2nd longest lifetime best, silver in the Paralympic Games. The champion is in this. Yasin Quinci.
4th in the world in 2024 from Mexico.
Jose Ruiz.
Jose Roman Ruiz.
On the podium in the Pan Ams. This is the reigning Paralympic champion from last year in Paris, Vladimir Sviridov, who's here as a neutral. that changes in a few weeks' time. Mohammed Al-Kabi of the United Arab Emirates. It's a bit of an open field. The lifetime best, only about 7 or 8 meters between them, so a good day can change everything. This is the bronze medalist in Paris last year, Dastan Mukash Bekov. He's a 16-meter man, the third longest lifetime best after Sviridov and Ganishi. Parachon Bakhtiyarov of Uzbekistan, who is 16 years old, championship debut for him. And Alan Kukoiti is here as a neutral athlete, and again he can be competitive. He is the silver medalist from Paris last year in the shot. And there is a bit of durability, as we say, in some of the classifications. In world athletics, if you're great in the shot, you're great in the shots, and that's it. But in this, chance to also compete in the javelin and the discus, and in the low 30 numbers, the club throw as well, as that is the proxy for the discus. But the women's javelin F56 is rolling forward as well. So it's one of those sort of curiosities that Chepakova has competed in a Paralympic Games previously, but never in a World Championships previously, and in fact, not even in a Europeans previously. So outside of the 2021 held Tokyo 2020, when she didn't register a mark in the javelin. This is actually her chance to get her first marks in a major championship. It must be really awful to never register a mark in a field final. Saying I'm sat alongside a field finalist, that never happened to you?
Do you know what? Fortunately it didn't. I'm racking my brain.
That's
but
okay.
we saw it last night from Ambra Sabatini, and it was devastating. We know her as the 100-meter Paralympic champion, and she just made her first venture into long jump for the women's T63 final last night, and it was so devastating to watch. She just really struggled with that runway and registered 3 fouls, and it's an awful feeling, but you learn from it, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, so we're catching up with Chepakova here. She's halfway through. She's had 2 throws of 15.85, which is a little shy of her lifetime best, just under a meter or so. Ranked on lifetime best only. Her current situation will put her into 8th spot. But remember, all the throws are taken at once, so all 11 will get all 6 throws in. She's had a little break. I kind of suspect as well, Steph, if you have gone through a competition with a whole load of no attempts, you'd remember it. So I'm pretty certain it's never happened to you.
Well, you know, it sticks in your brain, and that's okay, because usually it's the moments where something goes wrong that you really pay attention and you have to dig down and figure out, okay, what was it that went wrong? Whereas often if things go really well and they just click, you don't really have to analyze it, but then you leave not quite knowing why. And not that you care if you did really well, but really it's those moments of difficult failure that eventually, if you don't let it get to heart and if you use that motivation in the right way, you see athletes sometimes come back, absolutely storm the next year.
And I will say one thing as well, is that she's got all her marks in here, Natalia Chepakova, which is really good. So she's, as I say, she's a little bit behind. She has her season's best, bit off her lifetime best, but she's getting all her throws in. So the technique is fine. I always think it must be really awkward and difficult being the very first person in the first event of the morning at 9 a.m. because you're having to be here a couple of hours in advance. Lots of athletes are used to competing in the evening, obviously, because you've got evening meetings, Diamond League, Continental League, the Grand Prix and the Parathletic Circuit. That's 16:31, by the way. That's her best of the lot, so that's nice. And that might get her up a spot or 2 in the final standings. I suppose the point is it's only really at championships that you'll compete at this time in the morning.
That is true. It's rare to compete at this time, but the reality for a lot of athletes is that they are managing either full-time or part-time work. So there actually are quite a few athletes that will, just simply due to scheduling reasons, have to train in the morning. And the thing is as well, I mean, I'm going to be a bit tough on the athletes here. You know what the schedule is going to be well in advance. And so what you do is you just train for that. You practice getting up early. You practice getting up at 4 or 5 a.m., getting your breakfast, going through your routine. And no, it's not pleasant, especially if you don't like getting up early, but this is why the World Championships matters. It's the one time during the year where every single athlete comes together in the same country at the exact same time under the same circumstances, and we say, let's do this, let's find out. And this is how you make sure that everything's even for everyone.
Yeah, she's wrapped up that series of throws quite well. I have to say, really good consistency between throws 2 and 5. It's only 9 centimeters between them, and then right at the end, she got that hurled out quite impressively. So that's good news from her point of view. I think she's up to the standard that she might have expected. No lifetime best for her today, but at least a very solid season's best. So the men's shot put F36 on as well. Coordination impairment this is. Yassine Guinichi is our leader right now. 16.57. A standing coordination impairment, so it's a throw per round as standard. Vladimir Sviridov, the reigning Paralympic champion, he's only gone out to 15.93 so far. Mohamed Al-Kaibi now, the United Arab Emirates, drops that down, bang on the 12-meter line. And they've got a really strong, really good parasport setup there. You've got the Centre for People of Determination in Dubai, which holds annual Grand Prix events in various sports, including para-athletics, powerlifting for very many years, held the World Championship in this in 2019. Was there for a powerlifting competition last year, and they were hosting the final Paralympic qualifier for the archery. 12.02, he's picked up well, season's best, and he is in 5th position.
So here we have the ambulant shot put, and when you contrast that with the rhythm of the seated throws, it's very, very different. And it's purely for logistical reasons that athletes in the seated throws have to throw all 6 attempts together, whereas here you get a chance to rest and gather yourself for that next putt.
Dastan Mukashbekov, who took bronze quite impressively last year in Paris. It's a solid one. It's also a red flag, so it doesn't register.
Now, we don't quite see what happened outside of the circle, but I was watching on the track, and he stepped out. He stepped past the circle. Oh, we might get a view of it here. Still no. However, the thing with the shot put is that it is an incredibly complex coordination of your joints and muscles. And in an event, F36, this is an impairment in coordination. It's an impairment in your coordination and in your muscles. And so possibly the last thing that you would think that you should introduce an athlete with that to is the shot put, because you need to have so much balance and all sorts of different joints being coordinated across different planes of movement. And it just goes to show you, bodies are amazing and you really can train them to do anything.
Now this is the 16-year-old Baratjon Bakhtiyarov. Well, welcome aboard. He turned 16 in July. They keep finding really impressive athletes, I have to say. And they are starting to stage more and more big events across various sports. And they're a big nation for the power sports as well. That's just shy of 13 meters. That should put him in 4th. Is that the 14-meter line? I think it's the 14-meter line, so it'll still put him 4th anyway. Yeah, 13.42 is a new lifetime best. 15.10 is bronze for now. That's Jose Ruiz of Mexico. Possibilities here. They might be about to do something very special. Here's Alan Kokoiti. Here's a neutral athlete, silver in the Paralympic Games last year in Paris. Oh, that's the best of the day, is it? Certainly it's going to put him in medal contention. Our leader, Yassine Guinichi, only just missed out by 13 centimeters on a medal in Paris at the Paralympic Games last year. The lead with the Tunisian, 16.57. But Kokoiti might have been just about to do something that stamps his claim for the day. That is well beyond the final line. 15:10 is bronze right now for Jose Ruiz of Mexico. It changes. Alan Kokoiti goes into the silver medal position after the first round, 16 meters 33.
And that was a beautiful throw from Kokoiti. There are three things that will determine your distance in the shot. And that's your release height, your release velocity, and your release angle. Now, release height, you can do nothing about. That is just genetics. You are as tall as you are, and that's that. But release velocity, release angle, those were just so much speed generated in that circle by Kokoiti.
Time for the women's javelin throw, F54. There are 5 going in this, including the Paralympic and world champion, Nurkon Kurbanova, who's due to go later. So first up, is Rebecca Cortez of Mexico, 22 years old, her first major championship. Maria Bogacheva, her 4th in the shot put for these championships. She was a European champion in 2016 and 2021. Elam Salehi, bronze medalist in the Paralympic Games last year. Alondra Salazar of Mexico, 15:66, her lifetime best, which was thrown this year. Last but not least, Yulia Nezura, who was 5th in the shot put here at these championships. She was 4th back in 2017 in London. Neutral para-athlete. So Kurbanova, the Paralympic and world champion, world record and championship record holder, not competing in this event. So it's a open shot for the 5 who are taking part in that one. Men's shot put F36 final continues though.
Certainly does. So this is the man who's won the last 2 world titles in Paris at the Stade Charlotte and at Kobe at the Universiade Stadium. Yasin Genichi, silver in the Tokyo Paralympic Games, and that's a belter. He's our leader on 16:57. It was unusual for him to only just miss out on the podium at the Paralympic Games in Paris last year, but Yasin Genichi is trying to get a stranglehold on this and to get another world title. He sent that a brilliant way. It's well beyond the last line, so at that point it's sort of hard to judge how far he's gone. He does hold the championship record from 2 years ago. That is 16:86. Sviridov with a world record from Paris last year. It's an improvement for Genichi. He improves his lead, 16:74. 41 centimeters ahead now. Kokoiti second, Sviridov third. The 2 neutral athletes finished silver in Dubai at the Worlds. He's a 3-time world championship medalist. Looking on the way to 4 right now. He's in the place where he wants to be. Next up for Mexico with the bit of the now traditional Mexican pink, it is Jose Ruiz. Silver in Paris at the Worlds in 2023. That's a belter again, well beyond 14 meters, 15:10 in the opening round. He needs an extra 73 centimeters to get above Sviridov and go into the medals here.
So the thing with the shot put is 2 really important things. You need to get that speed in the circle. But the other thing is the impulse, and just watch here. So you see that full extension through his body and through his arm. Impulse is all about force times change in the amount of time that you spend pushing. And so when you get that full extension, you just have longer to push on the shot.
extra 20 centimeters, but he stays in fourth, does the Pan Am champion. Sviridov now, who's won the last 2 Paralympic crowns. Now 15.93, his world record is 17.18. He's about 80 centimeters, 81 behind Kunichi as it stands. That's another fine one beyond the 14-meter line. I think we can see a few marks slightly beyond that, which obviously may be from training, and I dare say might have been from a few other competitions the last few days. When we were at the Stade Charity a couple of years ago, in the shot sector, there was a massive amount of holes there from the week's shot competition, which I'm sure would have driven the groundsman mad. Paris FC were playing there at the time. They've moved next door to Paris Saint-Germain. It is an improvement for Sviridov by 1 centimeter.
I'd say they would have had to actually relay that surface at Stade Charity. It was that bad. There was sand coming up from underneath it. It was, yeah, it was different, shall we say?
Was that all right? The perils of hosting an event in a football stadium, and this is a football stadium, by the way. Punjab FC.
Do you remember we went for a quick walk out there to have a look at it, and we almost got lost in one of the holes?
Yeah. Quite protracted the word. Mohammed Al-Kabi, UAE, 12.02 is best. And this will be an improvement by fractions, I think. Finished 7th in the shot at the Paralympic Games. He is 29 now. 13.59 is lifetime best. He's hit his season's best already here at 12.02, so that's nice progress for him.
That women's javelin throw F54 underway as well. Yulia Najura, 13.47 after her first 4 attempts. First to go in a field of 5.
Here's an improvement by 23 centimeters, so quite a few fractions. 12.25. He stays in 7th. 20 centimeters behind Ivan Zelezniak of Kazakhstan, who is in 6th spot. Track action beginning in around 10 minutes time with the first of the day's finals. Lots of fun field first. I know a lot of you love it and you always like seeing as much as possible. A little bit of a shimmy towards the circle from Dastan Mukashbekov. Now he's last because of a no throw, but he's medalled in the last 2 global championships, so bronze each time, and that will get him in the chase. Certainly top 5. He gets the white flag this time, so that's good news and relief. Now there's 8 in this, so there's no cutoff point. Everybody gets their 6 throws, but Mukashbekov, I'm not sure it's going to get him into the top 4. Pan Am champ Jose Ruiz of Mexico's on 15.30. But it's a nice throw. Should slot him into 5th. There's a bit of a gap between the top 4 and the rest right now, and he's right in the middle of them. 14.41, and he goes into 5th position. His season's best, 14.69. Lifetime best is 16. And I know we refer to lifetime best a lot. Maybe almost too much at times, as if it's something that you ought to be able to do every day, but I mean, it is literally a once-in-a-lifetime thing. 16 meters would put him into the bronze medal position right now. Here's the 16-year-old, the championship debutant, Baratjon Bakhtirov. It's not a bad effort, actually. And he gets the white flag. .13.42 was his first attempt, which was a lifetime best. It's some way to start. It's asking a lot to push it on a bit more, but all things are possible. Our friends from Uganda in position early. Bakhtirov. It's always interesting seeing athletes at the age of 16 or 17 here, and we've seen a few who've already got themselves onto the medal podium. Bakhtiarov's going to have to wait like the rest of us. Kokoiti's throw is on the way. So 16:33 in the opening round. Ganishi leads 16:74. That is another long one. So potential here, big potential here for Kokoiti to maybe go in front. Ganishi, 41 centimeters ahead, setting the standard right now.
Now there was a very impressive pirouette that followed that putt, and so often we think of throwers, there it is. I mean, put a different soundtrack on that, maybe a bit of ballet, but we forget they're so strong and yet so much grace and balance required to be a great shot putter.
It's around the same range. It's 16:36. He stays second, he gets 3 centimeters closer, but needed a little bit more. Bakhtiarov's second mark, by the way, was 13:19. He doesn't improve, he stays in 6th spot. How hard is it to get a PB in something like this, where probably you will need it in order to succeed or progress?
Well, mentally you have that barrier, and along with that you have the pressure of the competition, so sometimes it's actually super helpful to have that adrenaline.
Here's more adrenaline, wheelchair racing, the fastest, the quickest, and for some the most exciting. Definitely the best around right now is in this Catherine de Bruyne in the women's 1500 meters T54 final. She is now an 8-time world champion. And this is she. 5 goals at the Paris Paralympic Games to make herself a real national figure back home in Switzerland. 6-time Paralympic, 8-time world champion, and a couple of big major marathon wins as well. Naomi Alphonse, history maker for Mauritius, their first ever para-athletics medalist 2 years ago, their first para-athletics champion last year in the 100 in Paris. Naomi Alphonse in 6. In lane 5 for China. She's the reigning 5,000 meters world champion from last year. Asian Games champion as well, Tian Yajuan. She's in 5. And in lane 4, what a week for Mel Woods. Her first major championship medal, bronze of the 800 meters for the Glaswegian from Red Star AC, coached by Rodger Harkins. Mel Woods in 4. In 3 for Switzerland, bronze in the 5 here already. She is the reigning European champion from 4 years ago. Patricia Eirkes goes for Switzerland in 3. 4th of the Paralympic Games in this, she was Zhao Zhaquan of China in 2. Silver in the 8 here. She is the reigning world champion. An Asian Games champ too. And in lane 1 for Argentina, at the age of 25, Lucia Montenegro has already been a silver and a bronze medalist at the Pan Ams, but that in the 100 meters. This will be a different challenge. All ready to go. The women's 1500 meters T54. This should be very, very interesting indeed. No doubt about that. We've got lots of really good champs in here. Everybody in this has won a major championship medal, but nobody's got as many as Catherine de Bruyne. It's been a real, in many ways, life changer going into full-time athletics in the aftermath of the Tokyo Paralympic Games, where she took gold in the 400. She'd only done it part-time prior to that. She's full-time now. She is a full-time winner. She's looking to push away the cast already. Zhao behind her in 2nd place, but de Bruyne taking control. Mel Woods in there as well with 3 laps to go.
Oh, there was a real tussle there at the start between Zhao and De Bruyne for that lead. Now, De Bruyne got there first, but Zhao expended a lot of energy because she knew how important it was to stay connected with De Bruyne. If she couldn't beat her to the front, then she's definitely enjoying getting a bit of a draft behind that pack. Mel Woods at the moment on the inside lane now. It's okay that she's there right now. It's not a fantastic position to be in the sense that she's blocked in, but she's doing exactly what she needs to do, maintain contact, try and get that draft, and put herself in a position to challenge for a medal at the end.
It's Zhao Zhequan in second place, trying to come on the outside of De Bruyne. You can ignore any of the words you're seeing on screen right now. Mel Woods is back in third. 2 laps to go in this. Well, De Bruyne shot out in front, and she's absolutely planted her flag again. She's had a great week. 2 competitions and 2 golds. It was 6 medals out of 6 last year at the Paralympic Games. 5 gold, 1 silver. Edged out in that and in Paris in the World Championships the previous year by Sammy Kinghorn. But she's led from the front here. We saw this obviously from Marcel Hoog, her compatriot in the men's 5,000. And it's very much what she did in the 5,000 final at the weekend. It's her 3rd final. She's looking for a 3rd goal, and at the moment it's not looking bad at all for Catherine De Bruyne.
De Bruyne is very much in charge at the moment. She's at the front, she's setting the pace, but look at Zhao. She has stayed on her outside because she wanted to be in a position where she's ready to attack, and De Bruyne, absolutely no problem right now covering this.
And here comes De Bruyne, races through at the bell. It's going to be a fast one, by the way. Championship record 3:25 from 8 years ago from the great Tatjana McFadden in those brilliant London Games. But it is right now. Catherine De Bruyne out in front. Zhao Zhequan behind her. De Bruyne is where she wants to be right now. There's a big gap of around 15 meters between them and the rest. There's Mel Woods who's in 3rd right there. But it is De Bruyne in control against Zhao Zhequan with 100 meters to go. Zhao's going to have to go very wide to beat De Bruyne here, and she might not be able to do it. It's Catherine De Bruyne, the Paralympic champion, holding off the world champion Zhao. De Bruyne will take this. It's her 3rd gold of the week. De Bruyne does it again. Zhao in 2nd place. It's Woods with the bronze for me. Her 2nd of the week. Tian 4, Naomi Alphonse 5. But Catherine De Bruyne does it again. An absolutely blistering success for her. Another blistering week. 4 golds in Paris at the Worlds 2 years ago. 5 in the Paralympic Games last year. And now it's 3 out of 3 for Catherine De Bruyne. Top of the class.
That was a very clever, and I don't want to say easy win for De Bruyne because she still did have to work quite hard. I mean, she must have gone in knowing that she was the class of the field, knowing that there were a multitude of ways that she could take on this race. She chose to go to the front, but she still respected the field. She knew that there was always going to be that danger from Zhu, and she made sure that she forced everybody into her hands. And if it came down to her final sprint at the end, she had it. But look here, I love that Zhu took this on. She purposely sat on the outside of De Bruyne, making sure that she had a chance to make that move, and she did. She tried. She really did try to get on terms with De Bruyne, but De Bruyne was there with that extra kick. However, I do want to have a quick word for Mel Woods, now picking up her second Global Championship medal. And the reason I love how she's racing at the moment, both in the 800 and the 15, she invests all of her energy. There she is, just in the back in the white helmet. She invests all of her energy in the first 75% of the race, making sure she is in position at the end. She doesn't worry about whether or not she's going to be tired. She just goes for it and trusts. And I love that kind of bold racing, and she's been rewarded now with 2 bronze medals.
Full-time athletics is suiting Catherine De Bruyne. It is a championship record. 9 seconds inside that mark of Tatjana McFadden. And right now, she is proving unbeatable. Except under 100 meters, but she's working on it. Catherine De Bruyne, 3 out of 3. A new championship record, gold for Switzerland, their 4th of the week and her 3rd. Zhao, new Asian record, silver for China. And Mel Woods, the bronze for Britain, for the Glaswegian. Pure dead brilliant. was Chan 4 and in the end, Alphonse 5. Let's crown another champ then.
It's time for the men's long jump T13 final, and kicking things off is Islam Salamov of Kazakhstan. Now, his personal best puts him in medal contention, but we have no clues about his current form as he's not competed in the past year. Dmitry Kaskovich, neutral para-athlete. He made his international debut in Kobe, finishing 5th. Not quite a seasoned athlete, but he knows how this works now. From Spain, 20-year-old Juan Serrera Molina. Now, he competed in the 100-meter finals last night, came 8th, but I doubt he's had very much sleep coming into this. Another neutral para-athlete, Siarhe Budaku. Now, he's competed in the long jump, the high jump, the javelin, and the triple jump in his career. Best finish at the World Champs is 3rd in London. He finished 3rd in the Asian Para Games in October 2023. Wu Nungping of Chinese Taipei. From Japan, Ryota Fukunaga. Now, he's a fantastic long jumper and a fantastic 400-meter runner. He came 2nd in Paris at the Paralympics in the 400 meters. Joining his teammate Serrera, also from Spain, Ivan Cano. He is a 2-time Paralympian, 2nd in the long jump in Tokyo 2020. Another man we saw last night in 100-meter action, Vegard Sverd, the 26-year-old from Norway. Now, he finished 5th. Also know he has speed, but possibly also not very much sleep. Zach Skinner, normally we see him in the 100 and the long jump, but he's chosen to focus just on the long jump here. Bronze medalist from the Paris 2023 World Championships. So this is the men's T13 long jump, T13 being a visual impairment class. And if you're new to para-athletics and not quite sure what that means, an athlete classified as a T13 means they have a visual field of less than 20 degrees.
Lots of field events going on, including this one.
Women's javelin throw F54. Alondra Salazar was in the chair. And this her 5th attempt, 1683. With her 4th, that was a lifetime best. Her lifetime best coming into this for the Mexican was 1566. So she's improved on that markedly. Only 5 in this event. No Paralympic or World Champion. Nurkon Kurbanova. So that's a foul with her 5th. Her 2 fouls so far. She is in 1st place at the moment. The first thrower was Yulia Nazura, who won 5th here in the shot put at these games. Nazura with her 5th attempt, 14.55. So she fell short of her lifetime best by 5 centimeters or so. So she's in 2nd position, and it is Salazar who leads at present. Time to move back to the track though. It's the women's 400 meters T47 opening heat of 2. In lane 9, Agata Galan, 22 years of age, from Poland, at her first major championship. Poland doing very well at these championships. They're 2nd in the medal table at the moment. 6 golds, a silver and 5 bronze to date for Poland. Anastasia Soloveva, neutral para-athlete, the reigning European champion in this event. She was bronze in Tokyo in 2020 as well. She'll go in lane 8. the Paralympic and world champion, Fernanda da Silva of Brazil, will go in lane number 7. Tabita Vultura of Romania made her debut in Dubai back in 2019. She will go in lane number 6. 16 years of age, first major championship. It is Maria Lara of Chile. '24-year-old home favourite. And Janaben Bombardier of India in lane number 4. And Amanda Rummery from Sherwood Park in Alberta, 5th in the 24 Paralympic Games in this event. The Canadian will go in lane number 2. So keep your eye out for lane number 7, the Paralympic and world champion there, Fernanda da Silva of Brazil. It's the first 3 who automatically qualify through to the final. And then the next 2 fastest qualifiers across both heats who finish outside the top 3 will also go through to the final. Away they go in the opening heat of the women's 400 metres T47. And they get away with no issues whatsoever. Bombardier has started very well for India in lane number 4. Soloveva looking strong out in lane number 8, going up on the shoulder of the young Pole to her outside in Galan. Fernanda da Silva, the reigning Paralympic and world champion in lane number 7, has just taken the lead as they come around into the last 150. They'll straighten up in just a few moments' time for the last 100 metres, and very good on the inside. Amanda Rummery, she's running a brilliant race at the moment as they move into the last 70 or 80 metres. Rummery's out in front. It's Da Silva and Soloveva outside her. Those 3 at the moment look like they're going to be the ones who go through. Da Silva and Rummery just battling out for first position on the far side. It is Rummery, but it looks like it might be Soloveva who's taken the win there, ahead of Da Silva and Rummery in 3rd position. But no matter what order they finish in, they'll be the 3 who do go through. It is Soloveva in a time of 59.11. Da Silva in 2nd, 59.13, just behind her. And Amanda Rummery with a lovely race on the inside in lane number 2, who takes that automatic qualification position as well. So at the moment it's the Indian, Bombardier, with a time of just over 1 minute, breaking her lifetime best by 7 seconds, who sits in that 4th position hot seat at the present time. But a lovely run by all 3 athletes.
Yeah, no surprise on who the top auto cues were. It was the same athletes who made the final in Paris. I think in this case, Rummery would have been very, very happy drawing that lane 2. Usually nobody really likes running in lane 2 from 400, but she had the advantage of being able to see all of her competitors and perfectly gauge that effort, doing just enough, but not too much.
So the crowds are in, getting themselves ready, and they're looking out for this man here who was competing last night. It's the men's long jump T13 final.
Ivan Cano of Spain, and yes, I suspect he is competing here on very little sleep. But you would know it, because that is quite a good jump. Excellent speed on the runway, and the reason he's had little sleep is because he was in the 100-meter final last night. So as you can imagine, this is a very quick turnaround for him. The athletes in this category having less than 20% vision in terms of a radius field. 6 meters 40, he has gone up into the lead, and I can tell you that while we are still in the first round, it has mostly been a series of fouls for several of the athletes. Sverd of Norway, he was also in that men's 100-meter final last night. Oh, now I didn't want to say it before he took off. I did not want to give him the commentator's curse, but in Paris at the Paralympics, he had that awful experience we were chatting about earlier, Will, of having 3 no measures. However, he was very certain with that mark, well behind the board. Excellent start for Sverd. Nice, safe start just to ensure he gets himself on the board. Right now, the lead is 6 meters 68 from Kaskovic, who set a personal best, and Cano Blanco of Spain sitting in 6:40. Six meters 42. He has just snuck ahead of Cano into second position. Zach Skinner, the 23-year-old from Paris. Now, normally we do see him doing the 100-meter long jump double, but he has chosen to focus solely on this event. Oh, and that one was close on the board. He'll watch the, oh, there we go. So he's going to watch the official with interest. White flag, solid jump. Just get a sense there of how close things were on that board, not giving anything away. I think he was absolutely perfect. Now the T13 class, they don't have that 1 meter takeoff zone like the T11s and T12s do. So accuracy playing even more of a role in the T13 event. We've had some fantastic music at the stadium. Zach himself is a DJ. I hope he's been appreciating the tunes. Well, I can tell you that Zach has started off with 6 meters 80, launching himself into the lead. He finished 4th at the Paris Paralympics, 4th at the Tokyo Paralympics. I can guarantee you he is sick of that 4th place position. Now we're back at the top of round number 2. Selimov came in sitting on a foul, and unfortunately it has been a foul again. Now there are 9 athletes in this final. You can get a shot there of the same visual that the officials are looking at when they make the call on these fouls. All of those images stored just in case there's ever a question. But Selimov is now sitting on 2 fouls. There are 9 athletes in this final. Only 8 can go through to get those final 3 jumps. And at the moment, with no measure, he's sitting down out of that position for moving on.
Interesting to hear about Zach Skinner doing a bit of DJing. His dad, obviously, Mickey, a great rugby player, but in the DJing, then maybe more of a Richard Skinner than a Mickey Skinner there. Actually, Mike Skinner. The streets. Not much movement in the men's shot put, so we'll tell you about this second heat instead of the women's 400 meters T47. Petra Lutheran in this. Very good jumper. Long jump and previously high jump. Top 3 going through to the final, plus the next 2 fastest. 6 in this. Eula Ross, quite talented as well. She's been knocking on the door for a couple of years. But the time is now for Kerrigan Johnson, championship debut from Arlington in Texas. She attends Martin High School. Very good evening to you all. Silver in the 4, bronze in the 2 in the US Championships. That was a bit of a shock. A 17-year-old. And here she is now. Kerrigan Johnson has her chance. In lane 8 for Brazil, silver in the 1 here, bronze in the 4 in the last 2 major championships that have been held in Paris. It's Maria Augusta, Pan Am silver medalist as well. 2 years ago. In 7th for Hungary, Paralympic silver in the long jump, world bronze in that for Petra Lutheran. 4th in the high jump at the Youth Olympic Games in 2014. So Lutheran, good prospect for Hungary here. In lane 6 for Chile. The Pan Am silver and bronze medalists the last 2 games over this distance, Amanda Serner. In lane 5, Bayer Leverkusen and Germany. 4th in the 400 meters in Kobe last year at the Worlds, Eula Ross. And in lane 4 for Uganda, the fans are out for it tonight. Championship debut for Priska Asiro. It's a good field, largely. It is the top 3 who are going to make their way through. Right now, the target is 102.13 from the woman who turned 16 yesterday, Maria Lara. Might be a 17-year-old who's turning her over in this. So Asiro with a championship debut, and Kerrigan Johnson as well for the United States. Asiro 4, Ross 5, Serner 6, Lutheran 7, Augusto 8, and Johnson in lane 9. Still morning in New Delhi. So underway in this 400 T47. Johnson away solidly. She took down quite a few major names to take those medals in the US Championships in Eugene during the summer. She started really well. Serner as well for Chile, and Lutheran in the Hungarian white and red right now. And Eula Ross, well, she came so close to a medal in Kobe at the Worlds last year. She was down the field in the Paralympic Games in Paris where she finished 8th, but she's made up a bit of a stagger here. She's very solidly overtaken the Chilean Amanda Serner, who's got those Pan Am medals to her name. But Johnson is really going well, and Augusto also, and Eula Ross moving through. It's the top 3 who will make it. It is Augusto, the Paralympic bronze medalist. She's on her way. Eula Ross too. Johnson's being caught up by Lutheran. It's a big battle for 3rd. Lutheran's going to make it, I think, and Lutheran is through in 3rd. The other 2, not a bother in the end for Augusto and Ross. They made it. The big race was for 3rd. So Kerrigan Johnson's going to have to wait. But a bit of speed in that. 58.17. I reckon the top 5 might have all gone through in that in the end. But it was one of those big races where it wasn't about the front, really. They were comfortable. They were going through. The big battle for 3rd, and Petra Lutheran made it.
Oh, I'm so pleased for Petra Lutheran, especially after the disappointment that came in the 100 meters earlier. We saw her in the heats and something happened. She stopped running and we got a sense that perhaps her block slipped. And that is one of the challenges with an arm impairment in the sprints. It affects you in 2 spots. One at the start. That start position is so difficult to maintain with 2 arms. It's very uncomfortable. With 1, even more so, but it also affects you through your running stride. Now, what we can't see here, there we go, that battle that Lutheran made to get that 3rd auto-qualifying spot. In a 400 meters, it's so exciting because everything can change in those last 50 meters. And sometimes you see yourself a long way back, but if you just trust your form and stay relaxed, you can make up some serious distance.
Petra Lutheran did really well, but that heat was so fast. Not something you're going to know about at the time. You're not going to be concentrating on what happened in the first heat. But the top 5 have all made it. More in a mo.
Okay, so we're just turning our attention back to the men's long jump T13 final. Last time we were here, Zach Skinner was in the lead with 6 meters 80, but I can tell you now that Japan's Ryota Fukunaga has responded with 7 meters 04. So he currently sits in the lead. Now we've just seen Cano Blanco take his 2nd round attempt. He opened with 6 meters 40, currently sitting in 5th position. One of the things that's so important in the long jump is that takeoff angle. You have to get it just right. You need this compromise between vertical lift, but you still want to maintain all of that horizontal speed, and there's no doubt about the kind of height that Kano was getting on that jump. Just see his coach there giving him a few cues to work on. I will update you with that result in just a moment, but right now we are seeing Sverd of Norway take his second attempt. He's got the, I was going to say the green light. He's got the white flag, which is a good thing. Okay, I can tell you that Kano Blanco has just jumped 6 meters 68, so he has improved in a position by knocking this man down into fifth Sverd, but we will wait and see how that fares after this mark is measured. Fist bump come coach. Coach liked it. And don't forget, this is one of the athletes that was very tired coming into this competition. But he's just come out with a 6 meters 68. The entire leaderboard has changed in the span of about 5 jumps. So we now have Fukunaga of Japan sitting in first, 7 meters 04. Sverd of Norway sitting in second with 6 meters 88. And our early leader, Zach Skinner, now pushed down to third position with 6 meters 80. This is the thing with field events. It can all change at any point. Ooh, Zach very close again on the board, and this time he just falls on the wrong side of that foul line. You can see the intense focus and determination. All of the athletes will be aware that there is a big opportunity at the moment. The field is wide open. So we don't have Orkan Aslanov, the 2-time Paralympic champion from 2024, also the reigning world champion. He's not here. And we also found out earlier in the week that Isaac Jean-Paul, the American who finished second in Paris, not here as well. He was a DNS in the 100-meter heat. So all the athletes know there is an opportunity to be had. And regardless, there will be a new world champion. Salamov is currently sitting on 2 fouls, as are 2 other athletes. He has to get a mark in here. Oh, you could see there, that was a very safe, very tentative approach, which I suppose was necessary. At his best, he's near the 7-meter mark, and that one was well below that. It's a really difficult situation here tactically, because right now you have 3 athletes sitting on 2 fouls, and only 8 athletes can go through, so we're going to lose 1. And actually, I'm kind of curious to know how that would happen if we ended up with 3 athletes, all with 3 fouls. Fortunately, we're not going to find out, because Salamov did register a mark in that case, and I will pass that information along as soon as it comes up on my system.
Quick word about Amanda Cernak, Kerrigan Johnson, women's 400. They are both through to the final.
On the runway now is Kaskovic, neutral para athlete. Now, he made his international debut in Kobe. He's just 18. So not quite seasoned yet, but he knows how this is going to work. Not look very good on the board. Really, really reaching in the air, just trying to maximize that distance. Kaskovic opened with a personal best of 6 meters 68, followed it up with a 6 meters 67. That's impressive. I guess 1 for consistency, but 2 to jump near your lifetime best so many times in a row. We're also going to see Kaskovic in the 400 meters later on in the week, and I will give you that result in just a moment.
Men's 400 meters T37. The opening round of 2 set to get underway. Jefferson Suarez out in lane 9, the reigning Pan Asian American Games champion, I should say. He was 7th in Paris last year. 23-year-old Anton Feoktistov. 4th position here in the 200 meters already at these championships. Bartolomeo da Silva, silver medalist in the Paris Paralympic Games last year. He's the reigning world champion, the Paralympic champion, Andrei Verdovin, goes in heat number 2. Shemin Kobasov, 6th here at these championships in the 100. Gold medalist back in 2013 in Lyon in the 400 meters. Ukraine's Yaroslav Okopinski, the world champion from 2023 at Stade Charlotte in Paris, goes in lane number 5. And the man who'll be hoping to earn his money, Ronald Rich, who's also competed here in the 200, will go in lane number 4. So the reigning world champion, Bartolomeo da Silva, in this heat. In the second heat, Andrei Verdovin, the Paralympic champion, world record and championship record holder, will go in that one. First 3 automatically qualify. Next 2 fastest, who don't automatically qualify across the 2 heats, goes through to the final. So you saw there a mixture of ways to start, some with blocks, some without, in this T37 coordination impairment category. And on the outside, the man who didn't start with blocks and the reigning Pan American Games champion, Jefferson Suarez, got out quick from lane 9. He's opened up a bit of a gap down the back straight with about 200 meters to go. They are working hard on the inside, including the reigning world champion, Da Silva of Brazil, who's in lane number 7. 3 in from the left of the screen. He almost went out of his lane there, did Suarez, as he went round the bend. That coordination impairment category, it can cause a few problems with that, but he is way out in front at the moment in first position. He'll be able to almost coast down to the line. Feoktistov and Da Silva in second and third position, and that is how it's going to finish, with Jefferson Suarez taking the victory in first place in 51.77. Very good run. 51.78 has been rounded up to for Jefferson Suarez. He went out fast in lane 9 and he held the lead for the whole way. Feoktistov, a season best for him in second, and Da Silva, the reigning world champion, qualifies in third place. Okopinski will have to wait in the hot seat in 52.84, his season best. But Jefferson Suarez looked very solid in that one.
The real challenge for the 400 meters in this category, the T37, is that 400 meters is all about relaxed running. When I say relaxed, I do not mean slow. I just mean smooth and efficient. And for the T37 athletes, it is a coordination impairment on one side of your body. So just imagine when you're running, you basically have 2 different forces, 2 different inputs coming in from each side. It's a very inefficient way to run. It makes it very difficult, and the athletes just have to train and be that much stronger.
So confirmation that Suarez, Feoktistov and Da Silva go through. Feoktistov is season best. Okopinski and Kobasov at the moment, with season bests, sit in those hot seats.
Okay, so it took a little longer than a moment to bring you up to date with Kaskovic, but I can tell you that he did not improve, already having set a personal best in round 1, so he will stay in 4th position. And on the runway at the moment is Berdicu. Now, this is a very important jump, and the officials are making him wait. Sometimes it's not helpful to have to sit and think about what's about to happen, because he is currently sitting on 2 fouls. There are 9 men in the field. Now, only 8 are meant to go through to the final. Now, Salamov was also in this position on 2 fouls. He took a very, very safe jump of 5 meters 63, and tactically he played that right. Because at the moment, even though it's well beyond his total, or his personal best, which is near 7 meters, he has at least guaranteed himself another 3 jumps. But for Juan Serrera Molina and Berdicu, who is on the runway at the moment, they have to register a mark, and it has to be further than 5 meters 41, which is where Wu Nengping currently sits in 7th place for Chinese Taipei. So you can feel the drama and you can feel the tension build. Bertaku is ready to go. Now by eye, that was a very safe runway. He's been given the white flag, and that jump looked good enough that I think he has done exactly what Salamov done and bought himself another 3 attempts. But the problem is here, you were already halfway through this competition. You've spent your first 3 jumps playing around with your runway. You can see foot plant there didn't even touch the board. The board itself is 20 centimeters long, and so before you've even started, you are giving up a huge amount of centimeters when often these competitions, the podium places are decided by less than the width of your thumbnail.
Pleasant morning and more action on the track on the way. Men's 400 meters T37, a big name, does not start in this, Andrei Verdoven, and that is a bit of a shock. That opens up the competition. He's the reigning European, World and Paralympic champion in this. Not anymore. T37, coordination impairment, and in 9 for Ukraine, Mikola Rajski, 4th in the 400 meters at the Paris Paralympic Games. In lane 8, the Paralympic 1500 meters champion, the world 1500 meters champion as well, Aman Ala Tasawi. He's still only 20, by the way. And in lane 7, from the Dominican Republic, 4th in the Pan Ams 2 years ago, it's Adonis Rosa. Haven't had a good Adonis in sport since Steve Beaton. Well, we have one now. No Verdoven, that's a shock. And in lane 5 for Poland, the former 200 and 400 European champion. Silvers in the last 2 worlds in the 2 for Michał Kukowski. And in lane 4 for Namibia, 6th in the 400 meters at the 2023 World Championships, is Petrus Kuruli of Namibia. Well, that's a turn up for the books. Verdoven, bronze in the 2. He was 5th in the 100 meters. But the 400 is where he dominates a lot. He has won a lot of golds in the 1 and the 2 as well. And I don't know if there was a niggle coming into the championships. Maybe there was, but he has departed. And that is a surprise. So, like the previous heat, it's the first 3 and the next 2 into the final. Target time 53:24 for those who don't get into the top 3. So the way the first time of asking, it's Kuruli, Kukowski, Rosa, Tasawi and Rajski. And away they go. It's not a solid start by Rajski at all, and Tasawi is well away. He has endurance and he has speed with those 2 golds in the 1500 and the 2 bronzes in the 400 in last year's 2 major championships. And Adonis Rosa is going quite well also. He's never won a major championship medal. He's 30. He's reasonably new on the scene, but he's going quite strong. Has he gone too early? Well, we'll see. Kukowski's going well. And Kuruli in 4 as they straighten up. So Tasawi well in control, a little glance, and he's had a look behind him, and there's a gap between the top 3 and the rest. So Tasawi will just ease up and keep his powder dry for the final. Kukowski's on the way to victory. Kuruli's going to go through, and Tasawi as well. Kukowski won, Tasawi very good indeed to win that. And Kuruli also through. And Rosa coming through in 4th spot. 53.87. Now that is slower than the 5th place time from the opening semi-final. So Chobosov is through and Okapinski's through, and only the top 3 in this progress. Kukowski, Tasawi and Kuruli, and Tasawi He played his cards right supremely. A little glance, knew he wasn't in trouble, so Rosa doesn't make it despite that lifetime best.
Well, you can see there why Tsawi is so dangerous and so good in that 1,500 meters. I mean, imagine to have this kind of speed, that kind of weapon. His flat 400-meter speed is fantastic. And as you say, he's glancing around, absolutely no ego involved for Tsawi there. He's perfectly happy to come in second, and he was slowing down quite a bit. I'm very curious now to see what he's going to deliver in that final.
It really has opened up, though, with Verdovin not there. So Kukovski's got a big chance of the final. And Tsawi as well. So Kukovski, Tsawi and Karuli, they progress. Rosa doesn't. Lifetime best all the same. Rajski back in 5th, and Andrei Verdovin, the defending champion, the 21-time major championship winner, doesn't go through. Jefferson Suarez, the fastest to progress for Colombia. Fekisov, De Silva, Kopinski, Kovashov, Kukovski, Tsawi, and Karuli. And Tsawi easing up a bit. And who's to say that Kukovski wasn't going full tilt as well? That's the field for the final.
And just a bit of news to update you on the men's T13 long jump. Juan Serrera Molina from Spain will not be going through. He has taken 3 fouls. Really, really unfortunate. And he is one of the athletes who competed in the 100-meter final last night, and we suspect didn't quite have much sleep. And that's really, really disappointing for him, especially because he was coming in with a new lifetime best. But just 20. So we'll have lots and lots of years of experience to build on that, but still hugely disappointing to not register a mark in a World Championship final. But on the runway at the moment, we have our current leader, Fukunaga of Japan. 7 meters 04 with his second attempt, sitting ahead of Sverd of Norway, 6 meters 88. Oh, and you could just see the way that Fukunaga winds up that runway, and sadly, he is going to get 0 credit for that jump. That's how it works in the long jump. You have to take off behind the board. And of course, it's even more challenging as a T13 athlete because all of the athletes have a limited amount of vision. They have visual fields of less than 20% and a significant enough impairment to impact their sport, not be able to qualify for a driver's license. However, if you just met them on the road, if you met them just in casual conversation, you probably wouldn't notice for a lot of the athletes. Cano Blanco finished second at Kobe in the World Championships. The world champion not here. Currently sitting in 5th position. From the start of this competition, Cano Blanco has been absolutely perfect on the board, and once again, foot smack dab in the middle. The runway so important for these athletes to establish it early, because having the confidence on that runway means that you can really work it and use it through the competition. Everything starts with the runway. That's where you get all the energy for that jump. It's basic physics. The faster you run, the more kinetic energy you have, the more energy available for the jump, and he's finally rewarded 6 meters 89 by 1 centimeter. He now goes into 2nd position. Sverd, who was in 3rd, who was in 2nd, now sitting in 3rd, and Zach Skinner pushed out of the medals into 4th position. Still early days. There's still a lot of jumping to be had, but we have had a lot of shifting in the results so far. We know Sverd has excellent speed. Can he use it to get back into that silver medal position? Sverd finished 5th in the 100-meter final, and he's given the white flag, but While that runway looked great, he had lots of speed, it was just a little bit of a flat jump compared to what he saw in round 2 when he went out to 6 meters 88. Again, one of the athletes that may be a little bit tired. And look, it's not ideal if you want to be an athlete that competes in multiple events. Sometimes the schedule is favorable, sometimes it's not. And they've done a few studies on this, and while obviously sleep is super important for athletes, it's not a huge deal if you miss just one, and you can do what's called banking sleep. If you know you're going to be in a situation where you're going to miss a night or two, you can actually bank it in the lead up in the 2 weeks. Maybe with an extra hour or two at night. They also suggest taking naps. The body is resilient. So sports psychologists will always tell you whether you're doing a big presentation and you're too excited and you can't sleep, or if you are like Zach Skinner getting ready to prepare for the World Championships. Missing 1 night of sleep is not that big a deal. Right. Skinner has some work to do here. What a start to the competition, flying out to 6 meters 80. He was our early leader, but the rest of the field has come back at him. He now sits in 4th. A foul in his 2nd attempt. Oh, and that just looked like, as he came into the board, he stretched out. One, it's not what you want. You want to be bringing your feet underneath you, getting you in that position to then launch yourself. But the other issue that we just saw is that it extends that final step, and unfortunately that one is a foul. And you can just see he is analyzing it in his mind. He's going to go over and have a quick word with his coach. As an athlete, it's really hard to do both jobs of, you know, compete and free your mind and do the analysis, and that's why so many of the field event athletes have their coaches on hand. You can see Aston Moore then coming down to impart his words of wisdom. Oh, and this is where great coaching really shines. Sometimes all it takes for an athlete to get back on track is just that one cue, those perfect words, just to settle that and remember what they came here to do, what their strengths are.
You talked about sleep there. Does that apply to commentators as well?
Well, unfortunately for us, the bad news is that you can only get away with missing 1 or 2 nights. And so we're looking at 9 days. I don't think we're going to get away with it.
I should have banked days before I came away.
See, the way you're talking, it makes it sound as if we're out in downtown Delhi every night, but unfortunately we're having to do notes during the night for the following morning session.
Oh, I feel like we should let the audience think that. Let them think we're super cool.
I wish I was super cool.
Speak for yourself. But yes, that's what we've been doing. Men's shot put F36, rounding to a finish. And what a finish! Vladimir Smirnov, with the final throw, has won it. The neutral athlete overtakes Yasin Granici right at the end. He'd hardly led for a time. He was outside of the medals. And Smirnov, the 2-in-a-row Paralympic champion, is now the world champion too. He'd thrown 16.93 in the 2nd round. He was 2nd on count back behind Granici. That was the best for both. Granici's 2nd longest throw was still further. And Smirnov, with his final attempt, a championship record, 17.01. So he's denied Granici his old championship record and the gold too. Smirnov takes it. An amazing finish.
Should be an amazing couple of 1,500 metres T54s coming up as well. The opener, Jin Hua, the Paralympic and World Champion, goes in this. The World Championship record holder, Marcel Hug, will go in heat number 2. Ludwig Malta, 25 years of age, from Austria, on the outside. Netherlands, 29-year-old Lita Anker, Lifetime best of 2:49.33. Goes 2 in from the outside. Jin Hua, who won 1,500 metres and 800 metres gold, as well as silver in the marathon at the Paralympic Games, and he's the reigning world champion, goes 3 in from the outside. Australia's Samuel Rizzo, who was 6th at the Commonwealth Games on his debut back in 2018. Thailand have always got great pedigree in these events. Pertharet Konkrak, bronze here in the 5,000 metres already at these games. Nathan Maguire, who was 5th in the Paralympics last year, 7 European Championship medals, bronze in the 800 in Kobe for Great Britain. And the second of the Chinese, Lu Jinjuan, 22 years of age. Lifetime best of 2:53.90. And on the inside, it'll be Julian Casseley, 6 global medals, 43 years of age. The Frenchman will start on the inside. And very interesting in this, that all the athletes' lifetime bests or season bests are actually better than the championship record Marcel Hug set in Lyon back in 2013. Might tell you a bit about how major championships work tactically. So they get away. Fastest on the outside is Lito Anker in that bright orange top of the Netherlands. He just sits back a bit now. He's taken over by Jin Hua, the World and Paralympic champion, but it'll be the first 5 who go through automatically to the final from both of these heats. So quite simple. You finish in the top 5, you go through. Jin Hua leads from Lito Anker in 2nd position, and it is Julian Casseley who's sitting in 3rd there. Just a sedate pace, not too quick through that first part there, as they move through with just under 3 laps to go. Now Steph Reed has a husband who wheelchair races in Brent Lakatos, so she should be fully informed in this category.
Do you know what? I think we spend so much time talking about Marcel Hug that we need to spend more time talking about Jin Hua. Now, we know that Marcel is absolutely dominant when it comes to the marathons, but actually, when it comes to the middle distance, Paris 2024 showed that wasn't the case. It was actually Jin Hua who won this distance, the 1500, by over 3 seconds from Marcel Hug. That is a significant difference. He is very comfortable going to the front of this pack, leading everybody, giving them a free ride. But I have to say, I think the smartest move so far that we've seen has been from Lito Anker. He knew exactly what he wanted to do at the start. He used that speed. He thought, I am going to park myself right behind Jin Hua because this is the one who's going to take it out. But my goodness, look what just happened there. Jin Hua has separated himself, and now the rest of the pack needs to get around Lito or just say, look, you've got to get up. You've got to connect with him.
And his compatriot, Lu Jingwan, the 22-year-old, has moved around the outside into 2nd position. He didn't want to be left behind. He knows it's the top 5 that go through. So at the moment is China 1-2. Julian Casseley of France is in 3rd position. And Nathan Maguire up in there to 4th. And Lito Anker, the 29-year-old Dutchman, is currently in 5th position. So they will be the 5 that go through. As it stands, there's only 6 in that race at the moment out in front. They've lost. The Australian Sam Rizzo has been dropped off the back there as well. And way, way back is Ludwig Malta, the 25-year-old Austrian. So out in front, it is China 1-2. Jin Hua, the reigning Paralympic and world champion, is in 1st place. And Lu Jingwan is just behind him. But there's 4 who have now broken away. And Lito Anker has some space between the top 4 and him, and also behind as well. So there should be a pretty simple equation here for these 5 that go through. It is the Chinese who are out in front. Jin Hua is in 1st position. He's just going to coast towards the line there, as is his compatriot Lu Jingwan. Coming through in 3rd place, it is Nathan Maguire, Julian Casseley in 4th, and it is the Dutchman Lito Anker who make up the top 5. Championship record 2:52.30, so he's taken 7 seconds off that mark from Marcel Hug that was set in Lyon back in 2013. Now, it did say coming into this that all the athletes have got season bests or lifetime bests that were better than that mark set by Marcel Hug back in 2013. So tactically, when it comes to major championships, it makes a difference that it's not necessarily as quick as normal. But this one here, very quick indeed. 7 seconds taken off that mark from Hug set in 2013.
Yeah, races at the championship level are definitely done tactically, but it is actually really important to point out as well, the surface for the wheelchair racers makes a massive difference. We don't have the information here, but I would wager a bet that pretty much all of those personal bests and season's bests were set on a very fast track in Switzerland. But what a statement here. When you are so far ahead, you're not even pushing as you go across the line. No surprises there in terms of the top 5. But if you are a new wheelchair racer, I have to say, pay attention to the way Lito Anker raced that. Yes, he came in 5th, but he gave himself the best possible chance early on with that move, getting behind Jinhua.
So Jinhua, Liu, Nathan Maguire, Julian Castley, and Lito Anker go through as the top 5. The rest, that's the end of their competition as far as the 1500 meters goes.
Well, life comes at you fast. Another semi-final in this on the way. A few very interesting names in this, and well, here's another one.
We are bouncing back and forth from the track to the long jump, and while the men warm up for that second heat, we're going to go live to the long jump pit, where... Hang on, I'm just rereading my notes at the moment because we have taken 9 athletes through to the next 4 jumps. I'm just going to take a minute and work out why that is, but for a moment, let's draw our attention to Wu Nungping, who is currently sitting in 9th, and from what I can tell, this is his 4th round attempt. Now, usually we only take 8 athletes through. Clearly something has happened, a discussion with an official. I will look into that and get back to you. However, the good news is the cull hasn't happened. We are taking all of the athletes through. And what a beautiful shot there of Wu Nungping, just doing a great job to control those rotational forces. As soon as you take off, the laws of physics are trying to pull you forward. Most athletes at some point have that really awful experience of face planting into the pit and getting a face full of sand, and that's why you see all those movements in the air trying to prevent that. On the runway now is Salamov of Kazakhstan. Oh, and that looked a little bit too close to the board, and it was. It's been given a foul. A few of the athletes struggling with their accuracy today. Salamov, 2 fouls in the first 2 rounds. Delivered a season's best of 5 meters 63. And I have to say, that was a very conservative jump, that 5 meters 63. Just looking to get a mark in, he basically jogged up and made sure that he was well behind the takeoff board. We know he's capable of more, but the problem is when you've had that many fouls in a competition, the confidence in that runway just starts getting sucked away from you. Berdiku, another athlete, struggling with a consistent runway. And of course, good thing just to remind everybody that this is a T13 category. Limited vision. And that looked to be a runway that came with a little bit more confidence. Berdiku currently sitting in sixth position with a 3rd round attempt of 5 meters 88. But the thing is, at his best, he is a 6.69 jumper. Set a new personal best earlier this season. Six meters 30. Berdiku is experienced. He was not going to let a few fouls early in the rounds ruin his confidence. First made his debut back in 2006.
A few confident men in this as well. Now, the men in 8 and 9, by the way, were great champions at the Paralympic Games last year in Paris. you'd have thought it would have been a case of never the twain shall meet, but they will meet. Maxime Caraban and Marcel Hug. More about that in a moment. Lots of champions going in this. Yassim Garbi, who's already won the 400 meters after being out for a few years. Thibaut Darat, his first ever championship medal coming. Fantastic for Darat, who's won championship medal, and this man is 59, Marcel Hug. Gold in the 5 here. His 34th major championship medal, his 14th world title, 7 Paralympic crowns, 13 euros. Is there anything else left to say about him? The future. So Maxime Caraban as a T52, gold in the 1 and the 4 at the Paralympic Games, and 5 world titles across Paris 23 and Kobe 24, but he's been reclassified as a T53, and this is the distance where they race against the 54s. So Caraban has moved up 2 classes, if you like. The man from Liège, I wonder if it's a step too far. Yassim Garbi back in the game. Gold in the 4 here. That was his 4th world title and his 6th world championship medal in total for Tunisia. He goes in lane 7. The future is now for Thibaut Darat, the 22-year-old, with his first ever championship medal in claiming silver in the 400 meters. It was a magnificent achievement for him. The 5,000, I mean to say. He will never forget that. Dai Yongkai, currently world champion in the 8. A Paralympic champion in the 400 meters. He goes for China in lane 5. Only a bronze in the 4 in the Asian Games 2 years ago. In 4 for Thailand, 4th in the 1500 meters of the Paralympic Games for Pitatpong Sianglam. Thailand always find great racing talent in the wheelchairs. Well, next up for Japan, he's only competing here in the 1500 and the 8. 9th in the world's last year in this, Hiroki Kishizawa. And in last year's World Championships, 2 spots above him was Cedric Rave of Mauritius. He's 38 now. He's very much new to the scene as well. A lot of people in Mauritius have been finding about the likes of Naomi Alphonse winning their championship medals, and a Commonwealth Games bronze for Sam Carter in Birmingham in 2022. He was 8th in the 400 meters final here. So again, it's the top 5 only who go through to the final. There is no hot seat, no fastest loser spot in this. Top 5 or you're nowhere. So away they go. So the 54s with a few 53s thrown in, Caraban being one of those, and he is at the back here. It is a massive step up from what he was doing the last couple of years. There's been obviously a lot of talk about it. There was a Belgian TV investigation as to whether he had been wrongly classified, and then he arrived here for classification before the championships, and after an assessment they have moved him up to T53, which is a stronger racing category. Oh, there's a crash here, my word, how did that happen? Well, they were going at such a short, slow distance. There's been a real bump. Marcel Hug at the front absolutely extricated himself from it. Well, that's amazing. I think Sianglam was one of those involved, and Darat, the silver medalist earlier in this week for his first championship medal, that coming in the 5, he is out, and he's not going to pick up another medal in terms of this. That's absolutely astonishing, and he's going to have to leap away and hop off the track with his machine, and wow.
Oh, that is so disappointing. And I want to say that it's not common that we see this in wheelchair racing, but you have to consider the speed that these athletes are going at. Now, right now, this is probably a little bit more pedestrian than we're used to, but often you are going to get packs going between 30 and 35 kilometers an hour. And look at these chairs. You know, they're big, they are awkward to move, and look at how close they get to each other. They do risk it a little bit because they know about the huge benefit of sitting behind someone and getting that drag draft, getting that 30% energy savings. There are very, very strict rules about the kind of space that you have to give to various athletes, and they have to be respected. But every so often we see something like that. Unfortunately, that one, it wasn't a dramatic fall like sometimes we do get. There's a reason why they are all wearing helmets.
600 meters to go. We're effectively down to 7. Darrow out of the competition, and Caraban has fallen out the back. Remember, he was racing T52 the last couple of years, and now he's up against T54s. Hoog, the best around, pushing his way to the front. Kishisawa on his inside. Dai Young Kang just behind, and Sam Carter getting boxed in a bit, and Xiang Lam getting into position, and Hoog leads at the bell. It's the top 5 who are going to make it. The back 2 out of this lead group are going to be eliminated, and Marcel Hoog is looking very, very good at the moment. No doubt about that. Kishisawa of Japan on his inside, who's never actually won a major championship medal. He's come on the scene in the past 2 years or so, and Hoog is in control. I don't think he's got a lot to worry about right now. He's come out onto the outside. Dai is behind him. Kishisawa's made a little move in the inside. Carter is there too. And Xiang Lam is in a spot of bother. He's in 5th right now, trying to make his way through. Hoog won't have any problem at all in getting through. Dai is moving up as well. Dai's going to get there. Hoog wins it. Kishisawa, Dai, Carter, and Xiang Lam. They're the 5 who progress, and the rest do not. And that's your headline. Simple as that. Marcel Hoog through. Bad news for Thibaut Darrow, who won that silver in the 5,000 meters. He doesn't make it. Marcel Hoog taking it 3:12.16. Caraban is coming across now. His career totally changed, but Marcel Hoog's remains as good as ever. Those 5 names, they're in the final.
And you just see there what happens when you get those tactics wrong. Garby out in 6th position. There are no fastest qualifiers here, and we saw the kind of speed that he has in the 400 meters, and unfortunately he just wasn't able to put it to use because he was too far back in the pack. And when you're too far back, and you consider the fact that those wheelchairs are between 1.5 and 2 meters long, I mean, if you are 3 people back, that is a huge amount of distance to try and make up, even if you are as fast as he is. And it was just kind of interesting to watch how the athletes lined up. You had 2 lines going, and you kind of have to hope the person in front is going to sprint it out. But that is the benefit of having the confidence to go to the front of the race and lead it. You decide. You don't have to rely on someone else to pull you around.
Well, you've got to go back 20 years of results to see success time and again for Marcel Hoog. 34 major championship titles he's got. He's aiming for a 5th here in this 1,500 meters. Never a blanco where Marcel Hoog is involved. He's through.
So we are heading back to the men's T13 long jump final. We are now in the 4th round, and on the runway is Ivan Canablanco with his 3rd attempt. He shook things up, launching himself into 2nd place with 6 meters 89, but he's not safe there, sitting just 1 centimeter behind him. Spared, jumping 6.88. Just a sense of the fine margins, well, not only in the long jump, but also in men's wheelchair racing. We saw that sprint out at the end. Look at how close those chairs are.
Yeah, now this is the bump in the opening round, and there suddenly he just buckles, and the wheel of Xiang Lam gets stuck in, and I mean, you can see the tire come off, so that's it. End of the race for Thibaut Dorat. And then he has to hobble away. That's unfortunate for him. Norway have travelled in their numbers again. So Marcel Hoog into the final. Kishisawa, Dai, Carter, and Xiang Lam all progress. Garby, the 400 champ, doesn't make it. Rabe, Caraban all out, and Darrow, unfortunately, did not finish. But at least he will be leaving Japan with his 1st ever championship medal, because he's travelling via there from India. So Hua Jin, the fastest with the championship record. That was Hoog's. Liu, Maguire, Casserly, and Anker all progress, along with Hoog, Kishisawa, Dai, Carter, and Xiang Lam. Obviously a real gap in terms of the time, but no fastest losers involved in this. no next fastest, so they could go whatever speed they wanted to, just so long as they were in the top 5.
So I can update you on Ivan Canoblanco. Another excellent jump in the 4th round, 6 meters 70, showing huge consistency. Sverre of Norway sitting just 1 centimeter behind him in 3rd, but it is Ryoto Fukunaga of Japan. Just 1 valid jump so far, but that doesn't matter because it was a good one. Our first 7-meter jump of this competition. 7:04 is the mark to beat. In addition to being a fantastic long jumper, also an incredible 400-meter runner. Not as unusual as you might think. Christian Taylor showed us that. It's very handy to be good at both. Oh, you can just see there, he has been adjusting his runway. Trying as hard as he can to get his foot onto the board. Unfortunately, he was a little bit behind on that one. And again, this just goes back to this skill that is so important in the long jump. It's not just about being fast and jumping far, it's about being accurate. It's incredibly hard to be precise with your running when you are on the edge, running as fast as you can. And that was a good jump. 6 meters 46, but remember, that was taken from well behind the board. Now, just to update you on the situation we have at the moment. See Sverre Molina currently on the runway, and earlier we were a little bit confused to work out why we've taken all 9 athletes through to the final when usually only 8 will go through. Now, he has protested one of those early fouls, and so essentially, while you can run under protest, you can also jump under protest. And he is jumping really well now. So the thing is, with the long jump, the way that the fouls are determined and recorded is through a camera. And all of these images are stored, and it's for a really great reason. It means that if there ever is a protest, then we can make sure that athletes are given as fair an opportunity as possible. We can go back and we can look at the files. That's going to take a little bit of time. So Sverre Molina has protested one of those early fouls, which means that he is now going to carry on the competition. He's going to finish off with his jumps, and we will figure out the rest of it at some point after the competition.
Well, we'll figure that out. Now it's time to figure out the 100 meters T34 finalists. We've got 2 heats going. In the first one, we'll have the Paralympic champion, Charlotte Ratana, and the world champion, Wally Katila, who'll be going up against each other. More than likely in the final as well, but this, heat number 1. Roberto Michel of Mauritius in lane number 3. He was 6th in the 400 here at these championships. Made the final in Kobe last year. There is Charlotte Ratana, the gold medalist in the Paralympic Games last year. He's already won 400 meters gold here. He's the 2-time Asian Para Games champion as well. Ali Rashid, 6th last year at the Paralympic Games, just missing out in the medals here on the 400 meters, finishing 4th in that event at these championships. He'll go in lane number 5. Wally Katila, 3-time a Paralympic champion in 2012, 16 and 20. He was 5th in the 400 meters at these championships. Silver in Kobe in Paris last year. He'll go in lane number 6. Ahmed Nawad, 22 years of age from the UAE. Lifetime best set this year, 15:46. He will go in lane number 7. And the only T33 athlete across both the heats, 24 years of age from Bahrain, Ibrahim Al-Mardan, in lane number 8. Coordination impairment category in wheelchair racing. And it will be the first 3 who automatically advance to the final. The next 2 in the hot seat after that will go through as fastest qualifiers. Well, we're just going to have to start again. That's Wally Katila, who you can see in the number 6 helmet with the grey sleeves. There was just a slight movement next to him from Ahmed Nawad, who's just moving forward, the 22-year-old from the UAE, and Katila just moved with him as well. So there should be no issues there because they were nowhere near getting underway.
Just a reminder for the wheelchair racers, as you can see, they don't have starting blocks. So any decision when it comes to a false start has to be made by, I don't want to say it's a subjective call, it is an objective call, but it's made based on their experience and what they've seen, because they can't rely on the numbers of a pressure plate.
Yeah, I'd have to say there in that situation though, they were nowhere near getting started. So at worst, a yellow card. Now I can see why Katila did move forward. Ahmed Nawad in lane number 7 from the UAE did actually move himself first. Didn't cross the line, but moved forward. And that, from Katila's point of view, saw him move as well. So we'll get set. And this time shouldn't be an issue, he says. It's not, they're away. Men's 100 metres, T34, opening heat. Only 3 that go through. It is Chowat Ratana in the blue on the near side, far side I should say, who's going to go through first and foremost. And in lane 3, Roberto Michel of Mauritius, and also through Wally Katila in 3rd place. So Chowat Ratana has gone through there in a championship record time of 14.71. Well, he did get away quick, in fairness. Lifetime best for Roberto Michel of 14.93 and 15.02 for Wally Katila in 3rd place. Well, you don't win medals in the heats, but you certainly lay down a marker, and that's exactly what Chowat Ratana did, the Paralympic champion. And Katila did have that championship record that he set in Dubai 6 years ago at the Worlds there, and he went out quick, did Chowat Ratana.
I actually really love that we're watching the 1500 meter wheelchair racing compared to the 100 meter, because with the 1500 meter, yes, you need to have the speed and the endurance and the tactics. But when it comes to the 100 meter, I mean, this is just pure brawn. It is pure physicality. There is absolutely no tactics involved. It's just you and your lane putting power into those wheels.
Well, he's already won the gold medal in the 400 metres at these championships. He's laid down a marker for the 100 metres.
And we're heading back to the men's T13 long jump, which is happening just alongside these 100 meters. However, the long jumpers and the 100 meter sprinters are going in the opposite direction. Now, I can give you an update if you are tuning in from Great Britain. Zach Skinner is still sitting in 4th position. His 5th attempt coming in at 4 meters 62. Skinner is still 8 centimeters off the podium, and that is because of this man, Sverd. He's sitting ahead at 6 meters 88, just 1 centimeter off silver. Oh, and you can just see there, you can just see as the runway starts to deteriorate. The whole point of a runway is that you are at maximum speed by the time you get to the takeoff board. So when it comes to a 100 meter sprint, yes, of course, the start, the acceleration and doing it quickly is so important. However, when it comes to the long jump, you can have a bit more of a casual run-in. All that matters is your speed at takeoff. However, you could just get the sense that Sverd realized he was going to be too far behind the board. That stride length started opening out, and as soon as your stride starts opening, you're not getting faster. And that was just a run through there. He's laughing it off. He's not that concerned about it. However, Zach Skinner is nipping at his heels. There's still one more round to go, and anything can change in that final round, as we have seen time and again. Capablanco taking his 5th attempt, and what an incredible series he has put together. Started off with a very modest 640. However, so far he is the only athlete that's actually got all of his jumps in, and he set it up from the very first one, getting confidence in that runway. He has built and built 7:11. That is a personal best, and he has just put himself into the lead, overtaking Fukunaga. I said anything can happen in these final rounds. Again, a perfect example of how takeoff velocity and speed on that runway determines everything. Your speed determines your ceiling, and that's why it is so important to have that confidence in the runway so you can charge down. So far, so many of the athletes really struggling with fouls, and as we get to the final end of this competition, one more round left, a lot of these athletes will be taking to that runway, and there will be questions in the back of their mind about whether or not they've said it correctly. Now, this is always an interesting moment to watch when an athlete has just watched their lead get taken away. How will Fukunaga respond? Oh, that was a solid jump. That was a safe jump. But as you can see, we have the markers lining that pit. And if they are accurate, that is not going to be over 7 meters. Now, the past 2 jumps that Fukunaga has taken, they've both been valid, but he's just been so far behind the board. He's not even touching the takeoff board. And that actually has 2 effects. One, that takeoff board is made of solid wood. And when you hit it as a long jumper and take off, 1, it makes a really satisfying sound, but 2, you do get an extra amount of pop off of it because it is so solid. When you are taking off from the track like he is, not only are you missing distance, you are also missing a little bit of impulse.
Nice bright day, not a cloud in the sky. And 6 men on the track in this men's 100 meters T34. It is the second semi-final that is up and coming here. And a couple of great champions involved as usual. Austin Smeek, Reid McCracken, Henry Manny, the man who's dominated Europe for so long. Everybody in this, bar one, has won a major championship medal. And in lane 3, it's the 800 meters world champion. He's looking to defend that crown later in the week for China. Wang Yang, bronze in the 8 in the most recent Asian Games in Hangzhou 2 years ago. In lane 4 for Canada, the Paralympic Games 800 meters champion. Bronze in the 4 here from Oakville, Ontario, Austin Smeek. In lane 5 for Australia, silver in the 4 here. He's an 8 times world medalist, 6 silvers. Reid McCracken, bronze in the 8 in the Paris last year. This is coming up now, the 10-time European champion from Finland. 7th in the 4 here, bronze in the 100 in Rio in 2016 at the Paralympic Games. 7 world medals, 1 silver for Henry Manny for Finland. In lane 7 for the United Arab Emirates, 4th in the 100 meters in the Worlds last year in Kobe, Mohamed Othman. And in lane 8 for Qatar, bronze in the 100 meters in Incheon at the 2014 Asian Para Games. That's Mohamed Al-Kubayashi. It's his 6th world championship. His best result was last year in Kobe, where he finished 5th in the 400 meters. So 6 going in this. It's the top 3 to qualify, plus the next 2 fastest across the 2 heats. Ahmed Nawad, 15:57. That's the thing to aim for. Henry Manny, who's now 33, the man from Lahti. Leo Pekatati, the flying Finn, dominated for so many years in the 54s. Involved in Manny's training a bit now, I think, but Wang Smink, McCracken, Mani, Ottman, Al-Kabaisi. They are away in this 100 T34, and Reid McCracken is coming away well, and Ottman also for the United Arab Emirates. Smink for Canada, looking like these three. Reid McCracken staking a big claim. McCracken wins it, Ottman second, Smink third. They're all through. 14.97 the winning time, unofficial, and then the rest will have to wait. Very impressive by the man from Bundaberg AC. He now has 14 global medals to his name, 6 in the Paras, 8 in the Worlds, none of them gold yet. That can change. Ottman getting through in second spot, 15.16, and Smink just behind, and they're into the final.
One of the interesting things about the men's 100-meter wheelchair, I mean, just like you would see with an ambulant athlete, you have these different phases where you have to have your start and then your acceleration and then your top end speed. And it's always fascinating to see the way that their stroke changes at the start. It's very much about just getting that chair going. Some will choose to use long, powerful strokes, but many choose to use these really quick, tiny strokes. And then by the time they get out to 60, 70, 80 meters, they're just about nearing top speed. Now, actually, very few 100-meter athletes in wheelchairs will hit their top speed because it takes them a little bit longer than 100 meters.
Top 3 through, the rest are blanco.
As you can see, it's all happening right now, and we are getting to the end of this men's T13 long jump. Now on the runway at the moment, that was Serera Molina, who we explained previously about this unusual situation. He had 3 fouls, and we thought that he would be going home after those first 3 attempts because only 8 athletes can make it through. However, he is jumping under protest, and he has asked the judges to review one of his initial jumps in those first 3 rounds that he thinks may not have been a foul. So he's carrying on. At the moment, he is sitting in 8th position, courtesy of a 5-meter 61 jump in the 8th round.
Out of interest, how many times would someone jumping under protest be allowed to continue in the competition when they look back at it?
So I have never seen it before. However, I have seen on occasion, you've done the heats at a competition, and then I come back and I look at the final and I think, oh, there's more people than should have been there, and the protest happened after the competition and was then, that athlete was awarded. And so one of the good things about technology is that long jump pit is set up with cameras. They use cameras to do the measurements, they use cameras to determine the fouls, and all of those images are stored. So it means that there is an opportunity for that to happen, and it just, of course, so important. All the athletes feel like they're getting their fair shot.
Well, talking of the protest, this man didn't have any issues.
Yes, this is the effort from Wu from Taipei.
Wu is a medalist at the Asian Games. Also an athlete that's had a little bit of a hard time setting up his runway, which has kind of been the story for so many of these athletes. It's hard for all athletes to be accurate on the board, but of course you have the additional challenge in a T13 event of having limited vision, just 20% visual field. Now, just to update you on Serera Molina's final jump, he has actually improved in placing. He's gone from 8th place to 7th place. Salamov, the athlete on the runway at the moment, is currently in 8th place. Salamov first making his World Championship debut back in Assen in 2006. Salamov, very experienced athlete. Came into the 3rd round with 2 fouls, able to deliver. Earned himself another 3 jumps. However, unfortunately, this competition has just not gone his way. Salamov at his best, 6 meters 93, just shy of the 7-meter mark. Now, he came in without a season's best, suggesting that he hasn't competed much this season, perhaps a few injuries giving him some troubles. But on this occasion, he will not be challenging for the medals. Bertaku, neutral para-athlete, ready for his final attempt. Burdick, multi-talented, competing in the long jump, the high jump, the javelin, and the triple jump throughout his career. Yes, at one point there was a visually impaired triple jump. That's the event where you do a hop, step, and then a jump. Always a very exciting one to watch. Can he improve from 6th position? Burdick using a simple hang technique there. He has been given the white flag from the judges. But based on those line markers, I don't think he is going to improve on the 6 meters 47 that he delivered in the 5th round.
Just as we were saying about that men's 100 T34 heat beforehand, Henry Manny, Wang Yang, they miss out. McCracken, Ottman and Smeek, the 1, 2, 3 all progress to that T34 100 meters final. And Manny, a reasonably big name, does not make it, the 10-time European champion.
We now turn our attention back to the track, and we are going to have our first look at one of the superstars of para-athletics. And I'm talking of none other than Fleur Jong of the Netherlands. She has been absolutely dominant in the past 2 years. Summary version being she has won everything. But in lane 4, B-Hats, now known as B-Hats, and that's because she was tired of commentators like us getting her first name wrong. She is a bronze medalist in the long jump from Paris 2024, but didn't qualify for the 100-meter final. And beside her will be Fleur Jong, the 29-year-old from the Netherlands, double gold 100 meters long jump in Paris, double gold doing that at the past 2 world champs. And this is the start of her campaign to do it for a 3rd time. Beside her, in lane 6 will be Sydney Barta. She is the first Paralympian to compete for Stanford University. She did it this April in the 200 meters. In lane 7, Yamile Diaz of Puerto Rico. She's a 2-time Paralympian, debuting in Tokyo as a teenager. And finishing off our field in lane 8. It is the European champion in the 200 meters in 2018, Abasia Ramani. She's a 3-time Paralympian, a commerce graduate who now is working in sports management. She has a habit of setting her personal bests in big finals. This is the heat. There'll be another one to come. As you can see, we have a mix of T64 and T62 athletes competing. A 64 athlete has 1 blade. A 62 has 2 blades. Fleur Jong has been absolutely dominant in this event. Watch for her in lane 5. She has a habit of resetting this world record in the T62 category multiple times a year. The most recent sitting at 12.20 seconds. That is fast. The big question is, can she get under the 12-second mark? Hats in 4, Jong in 5, Barta in 6, Diaz in 7, Ramani in 8. Oh, and it's a clean start. Hats with a fantastic sprint out of the blocks, but look at Jong. This is where she is into her element. Her top end speed is absolutely untouched. Watch the clock. That is coming up at 12:23, but my goodness, look at the figure on top of that. She is flying down that track at almost 30 kilometers an hour, and she is making that look very easy. She is dominant in the long jump at the moment. She is dominant in the sprints, and actually, as a country, Netherlands is unbelievably dominant. We're going to see 2 other Dutch athletes come through in the 2nd heat. But the thing is, we've always known that Young has been incredibly fast, but then now that she has that start and she can keep up with the T64 athletes to those first 30 meters and then just blast away. Previously, we would see that she would be down at around 40, 50, just coming through at the end. Now she's coming through right from the start, and she is going to be very, very difficult to beat in that final. Now, one of the ways that WPA ensures fairness across the T62, T64 division is athletes with double blaze have to maintain them at a certain height so that they can't artificially lengthen their stride length. Classification taken very seriously in world para athletics because it is the only way we can ensure a fair competition. Right, we'll get back to the conclusion of those heats, but right now, spared. He was jumping knowing that he was already a bronze medalist. Now he has struggled with that runway since his 4th attempt. And it's so hard in those final moments when you are trying to deliver your best jump and you still have lingering questions about that runway. He started off so strong, delivering 6 meters 88 at 1 point in the lead. Unfortunately, such is the quality that he got himself pushed back down into bronze medal. Still a fantastic achievement. He was 3rd in Kobe at the World Champs, and he is 3rd again here in New Delhi. We now turn our attention to the man who spent most of this competition leading. Fukunaga of Japan laid out a massive mark of 7 meters 4 in the 2nd round. He was overhauled in round 5. He tried to respond then. Has he responded on that last attempt? It looks good. It looks good. In terms of those meter markers on the side of the runway. The cool thing about long jump is that the athletes are literally transforming themselves into projectiles. As soon as they take off, they are bound by the laws of gravity, bound by the laws of projectile motion, and they are just hanging on for the ride, hoping that they've built up enough energy to launch themselves the farthest into that pit. Everyone is waiting with anticipation. His best jump so far, 7:04. The leader, this man, 7 meters 11. Well, I can tell you now without even measuring Cano Blanco's jump. Fukunaga's jump came up at 6 meters 81. That means that Cano Blanco took to the runway, knowing in advance he is now the world champion. Cano Blanco did it in style. He was patient. It was not fireworks to start off with. It was a very modest 6 meters 40. And he then built on that, 6 meters 68, built on that again, 6 meters 89, until finally in the 5th round, he went out to 7 meters 11, a personal best for him. And his final jump has now come up 7 meters 05, 2 7-meter plus jumps in one competition. He is the only athlete in this field who was able to nail that runway. And for me, that is the reason why he was able to take this. Having confidence in the later rounds just meant he could really let it fly. He is a 2-time Paralympian. He was 2nd in Tokyo in the long jump. He was 2nd in 2015 at the World Champs, 2nd in 2024, and now, finally, he is the world champion in New Delhi 2025.
So second semi-final coming up in this women's 100 meters T64. Another belting athlete here in the form of Marlene van Gansewinkel, the former world champion in this 100 meters. Took the 1 and the 2 in Tokyo 3 years ago. Marissa Papakonstantinou in this as well, who is a regular championship medalist. So again, it's the top 3 in the next 2 who'll qualify. Sydney Barton was 4th in 1369, and Yamali Diaz 5th in 1372. So remember those. So for Canada in 3, Marissa Papakonstantinou, who was 4th at the 200 meters of the Paralympics last year, bronze in the 2 before that in Tokyo in 2021, and 2 bronzes in the Worlds in Paris 2 years ago. In 4, for Puerto Rico, 4th in the 100 meters in the Worlds in Paris 2 years back, Amaris Vasquez. Tremendous athlete in 5, Milena van Ganser-Winkel. Left last year's World Championships by setting a world record in the 200 meters. It only lasted a week or so. The reigning European champion in the 2, bronze in the 1 last year at the Paris, Milena van Ganser-Winkel. In lane 6 for the United States. So 4th in the discus of the Pan Ams 2 years back in Santiago. Silver in the 2 and bronze in the 1 in the recent US Championships, and bronze in the discus as well. So here she is from Panhandle, Texas. She still going to high school there. In lane 7, first World Championship for Fiona Pienaar, 7th in the 200 in Paris last year. And in lane 8 for the Netherlands upcoming. 4th in the 100 in the last 2 World Championships, it is Kiki Hendricks. Good field this. You remember the Dutch clean sweep in the 100 meters a year ago in Paris. Fleur Jong, Kimberly Alkemada, Maas, and Milena van Ganser-Winkel. A full Dutch podium. Alkemada has retired since then. New arrival in the family on the way as well. Congratulations there. Imgar Ben-Susan retiring also after that final, who was, I think, trying to qualify again for these champs. Didn't make it here. So, Marissa Papakonstantinou in 3, Amaris Vasquez 4, Milena van Ganser-Winkel 5, Chloe Chavez 6, Fiona Pienaar in 7, Kiki Hendricks of the Netherlands in lane 8, top 3, plus the next 2 to go through. Away first time. Solid start by Milena van Ganser-Winkel and Papakonstantinou as well. Papakonstantinou out in front, van Ganser-Winkel alongside. Kiki Hendricks making it through also. Van Ganser-Winkel's going to take it. Papakonstantinou and Hendricks. That was good. 12:86 on the clock. And the Dutch have got it together. All 3 have qualified. Van Ganser-Winkel and Hendricks making it work well. Van Ganser-Winkel with the win. Hendricks equaling her lifetime best. And she did just catch Papakonstantinou on the line. That might be good news for the rest. They blazed through well. 12:85, Van Ganser-Winkel's winning time. 3 quality athletes make it through. And Pienaar as well, by the way, 13:56. She's through, Chavez isn't.
I mean, the thing that stands out the most from that race is both from Van Ganser-Winkel and Papakonstantinou. They are just so good when it comes to the drive phase. They are 2 of the strongest women you will see. So strong. And the amount of force they can produce in those first 20 meters is incredible. Of course, top end speed also matters at the end, and we can see Kiki Hendricks coming into her own there. But my goodness, if you are looking for a sprint model to start off with, at the moment we are looking at photos of Papakonstantinou's family, mom, dad, sister. They were all going crazy. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hear Will because they were cheering so loud.
So, Milena van Ganser-Winkel wins it. She goes through along with her compatriot Kiki Hendricks, Marissa Papakonstantinou and Fiona Pienaar as well for Spain. Chloe Chavez in 5th doesn't progress. Wrapping up at Panhandle High School, going to San Diego University after this. A good performance, always get good racing in the 60s. So Fleur Jong, with that new championship record as a T62, breaks the old mark of Sarah Andres Barrio from Dubai 6 years ago. Fastest to qualify. Actually, the top 3 are all Dutch. Is it another Dutch podium exclusively for them? Papakonstantinou, the 4th fastest.
Women's discus throw F11 final coming to a conclusion. Only a couple of throws left. I can tell you the lady we just saw, Oksana Dobrovolskaya, has taken the bronze medal, 37.24 for the Lithuanian. She was 5th in the Paralympic Games last year, so she picks up a global medal, a bronze for that one, with a lifetime best. Assunta Lignante is guaranteed a silver. Can she improve though and pick up a gold? Well, it's out over the 35-metre mark, but it won't be an improvement. Currently, Zhu Enwei, the world champion from Kobe last year, is in the lead. Assunta Lignante, 9 global medals. She was silver in Kobe behind Zhu last year as well. She won gold back in 2019 in Dubai, the last time she was top of the podium in this event. So it's going to be a silver medal for the 57-year-old. And here comes your gold medalist. No matter what Zhu throws here, she's made it back-to-back world titles. Had to settle for bronze last year in Paris. Zhang Li Min, who isn't here, the Paralympic champion, world record and championship record holder. So a great opportunity for back-to-back titles for this lady Zhu. And that is what she's achieved. 39.51, a season best thus far. All three at the top, either personal bests or season bests. So China pick up another gold. Doesn't improve, doesn't matter. Zhu, season best, 39.51. Assunta Lignante, season best for silver. And Dobrovolskaya with a lifetime best, bronze for Lithuania.
If you are a figure skater or a dancer or even a practitioner of yoga, you will fully appreciate how difficult it is to do this movement, to do that spin without any visual markers. Anytime you're in a yoga class and you're doing a pose and you find it too easy, the teacher will tell you to close your eyes, and as soon as you do that, most of the class falls over. I mean, their balance and coordination without use of any visual markers is absolutely outstanding.
So Zhu wins it. It is, by the way, the first field medal for Lithuania here. They picked up one on the track through Bella Morkus in the women's 100 metres T71. This, though, their first field medal. It's a bronze for Dobrovolskaya. Assunta Lignante makes it 10 global medals now, picking up the silver to go with last year's medal as well. And it is Zhu who makes it back-to-back world championships in the women's discus throw, F11. There is the Lithuanian Oksana Dobrovolskaya. She was 8th back in Tokyo in 2020. She was 5th in the Paralympic Games last year. She's on the podium in New Delhi in 2025. Must be supporting the Mexicans wearing that colour. Posting on social media about what he's just seen in the women's F11 and on the track as well.
Well, good things take time. And the first event of the morning is still on. That's the women's javelin F56. We still have one thrower to go, but what a thrower Assunta Lignante has been in her career.
Love seeing those face masks he wears as well. Must be a good message, he's still typing. It is hot. Bit of a difference from this time yesterday to what it is now, weather-wise.
It's getting very, very dark this time yesterday. The Nyante, well, she's always been quality. She was the European indoor shot put champion in Birmingham in 2007. Had a silver in Vienna 5 years before that. He was a really great world-class shot putter. And she still is in para-athletics. And she's still competing strongly. In 2007, I commentated on the Tokyo Paralympics for Irish television for RT alongside David Gillick, and 2007 is so long ago. He defended his 400 meters title there. So the women's javelin F56. This is the last to go. Now it's a championship debut for Amalia Ortuno. However, she is a world champion, a 6-in-a-row world champion in CrossFit, and she's also been the champion in Barcelona, the European Adapted Championship. She is 40 years old, 13.87 her lifetime best set this year, and obviously the Costa Rican Paralympic Committee have said you're quite decent at what you do, so do you want to try this as well? So let's see how she fares. She's got all 6 throws to come, plus a few practice efforts to go. So the current situation is that unless she effectively doubles her lifetime best, Diana Kremina is the champion for Latvia. It's a little bit like, as she takes that throw out towards 15 meters, it's a bit like watching in the World Skiing Championships, and you've got the top 30 who go, and you know who the winner is, and then those who are seeded 31 to 60 go for the lower positions. Kremina leading, 26.18. That'll be gold for Latvia, another gold for her.
And we'll finish that shortly. Final track event of the morning session, women's 100 metres T37 coordination impairment category. Will see us out for the morning session. Wenji Yan, the Paralympic and world champion, she's also the world record and championship record holder, goes in this one in lane number 4. Neve McAllister, her first major championship. She had 6 fouls in her long jump competition, unfortunately for her, but it was a season best in her heat for this event, qualifying for the final. South Africa's Liesel Gals, who was 5th in the 400 metres at these championships, will go in lane number 3. And there is Wen. She's won gold in the long jump already at these championships as well. 8 World Championship golds, 9 Paralympic Game golds. She'll go in lane number 4, the defending champion. 7th in 24 last year in Paris, Victoria Slanova took silver here in the 400 metres at these games. Neutral para-athlete in lane 5. Second of the South Africans, bronze here in the 400 metres at these championships, Cheryl James of South Africa in lane number 6. Taylor Swanson, she was the silver medalist last year in Kobe. She took silver in Paris as well, and silver at the Pan American Games in Chile in 2023 in lane 7. Akeisha Snowden, she was 4th in the 400 metres, just missing out. She's the Australian record holder from Adelaide. And we got to meet her mother and her grandmother at the hotel yesterday. They're her role models, she says. And they were very excited to see her in action. Descali Medina, bronze medalist in Rio in 2016. Gold medalist at the Pan American Games back in 2015. In lane number 9. This is the second least impaired of the coordination impairment category. Field of 8. Set to go. Well, there's a bit of movement in there, so they've just been asked to stand up and reset. Coordination impairment category, so there is a potential for a bit of movement around, and they've just been asked to just stand up, get yourselves back into position, and we'll try again in a moment or two's time. And that tends to generally happen in the coordination impairment category. So the green card shown, which pretty much covers the whole field, to just show a bit of bureaucracy and just start all over again. The knees up from Cheryl James there, and everyone's just decided to stand up. So we'll go through McAllister in 2, Gals in 3, Wen in 4, Slanover in 5, James in 6, Swanson in 7, Snowden in 8, and Medina in 9. So they move, and it was Wen who got away quickest of all. She got an absolute flyer along with Taylor Swanson on this near side. It's Wen who's out by 2 or 3 metres, who's going to take it. Wen goes across the line. It's Swanson in second position. 12.94 is the time for Wen as she goes across. I think Slanover might have taken third, but it's definitely Wen with a season best, retaining her World Championship title. Taylor Swanson in 13.27 picks up that silver medal to go with the silver last year, and it is Slanover, a season best for her for the neutral para athlete. 13.79 in that bronze medal position. So hugs all round, but when she got an absolute flyer from the blocks.
You just see the action there, it is just so smooth and so efficient. And again, this is a T37 category, which means that one side of your body is stronger than the other. And so when it comes to running, what you're dealing with is basically 2 different forces going through your body, going through your spine, and you have to find a way to then smooth that out. And basically what that means is you just have to be much stronger everywhere else in your body. But I think the thing that was also really exciting about that race was the race for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place. It was so tight.
Well, there's Akeisha Snowden who took 4th place, the youngster, the 20-year-old from Australia. She was 0.1 of a second behind Slanover. What a career she's got in front of her. Wen wins it though and takes yet another gold medal. That means in the World Championship she has 9 World Championship golds now across various events to go with those 9 Paralympic golds. There it is, season best for Wen, who takes the gold, retains her title. Taylor Swanson, silver for the United States. Slanover, season best, and Snowden just running out of it by 0.1 of a second, and 0.01 of a second down to Cheryl James in 5th place.
Good race, great result for Akeisha Snowden of Adelaide there in 4th. Birth of another great career. Now that women's javelin at 56, just about wrapping up. Amalia Ortuno, we saw a foul from her first attempt. She subsequently got on to 15.32 means. She finishes in 10th. So Diana Kremina is the champion again. Great display from her, and that is a 6th world crown. 26 meters 18 for the Latvian, Raisa Rocha. Well, the world champion loses a crown. Championship record 23.90, being an F56. Silver for her, and bronze for Zainab Bradi Rashnu for Iran in 3rd spot. European champion Sultana Kramida in 4th. Great result for Rocha all the same. Kremina, worth pointing out, didn't compete in Kobe last year, but Rocha's done very well, and it is another major championship medal for her. She breaks the 23-year-old championship record of Martina Villing, that great veteran athlete that was set in Lille in 2002. And Moradi, who finished 4th in the World Championships last year, picks up the bronze here. Ramdia 4th in the Paralympics, 4th here. And in the F54, Elham Salehi taking the gold for Iran, silvers and bronzes for Mexico, Alondra Salazar and Rebecca Cortez, respectively. Lifetime bests as well.
Women's javelin throw F54. Elim Salahi takes the gold medal. Salazar the silver, lifetime best for Mexico, and Cortez making it a Mexican 2 and 3 with a lifetime best as well.
Yeah, Diana Cremina here. Well, she's had a great display in the F56 once more. Brilliant athlete from Riga. Lives in Austria now. Went to support some further athletes once upon a time and then got involved in the sport herself. Her and Iga's happiness with the gold medals again here. For it was he who she went to watch many years ago. And now she picks up her umpteenth global gold.